can't do it this way. I'm charging it. Oh, man. I'm just going to have to do it this way. Yeah, I know. Battery's low. Okay. First, I have to say I was very happy today. They covered part of chapter 24, where it talks about the end times and the days and the way it'll be. But I want to go to 2 Timothy 3, where it talks about the apostasy in the end times. This known also that in the last days perilous times shall come. Now, as I'm reading this, I want you to think about everything you see on the news every single day, all the time, going on every day. It's something different, especially if you're a Trump supporter or if you're a Democrat. Just think on both sides of the street there. It says, for men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy. Now that sounds like a whole lot of kids I know these days. I've seen on TV, cash me outside, Of course, a lot that stuff is the parents' fault. I guarantee you my kids don't talk like that because they know they'd have got their butt beat off of them. And I don't mean in a child abuse way. I mean they would have been disciplined, and they know it. Without natural affection, basically without natural affection, meaning that they just hate, the love for many have waxed cold. They just hate everybody. If you're a Trump supporter, I hate you. You're a piece of crap. You need to die. Or like Maxine Waters says, you need to let them know that they're not welcome here or anywhere. Well, what are we supposed to do? Move to a different planet, you senile old hag? Let's see. Fierce, despisers of those who are good. Truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent. Traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God, having a form of godliness but denying the power thereof. And it says, from such turn away. And that's just 2 Timothy. But in Matthew 24, it also talks about, there's several books in here. Several in the New Testament talks about the end times. But that Timothy and Matthew, they really nail it. I'm trying to get back to it now. Try to do this one-handed, I swear. Matthew, no. Okay. So Matthew 24. Right before Matthew 24 is when Jesus I don't know. Okay, Matthew 24 talks about the destruction of the temple predicted. Get off. I don't know how much of this I got because I just realized that it says it has to be charging. So I'm going to have to hold it with my hand. Yeah, I need a little tablet or something. There we go. Anyways, Jesus is talking about the temple would be destroyed. Not one stone would be left on one on top of the other. And of course, at the time when he said it, he was talking about when he said destroy this temple and I'll rebuild it in 3 days. He was talking about his body. But he did tell his disciples, do you see all these buildings? No, I tell you the truth, not one stone will be left, one on top of the other. And they didn't really understand what he meant then, but it was literally 40 years after the death of Jesus that the temple of God was destroyed. Of course, God had been out of that temple for a while. I mean, when Jesus went through there and saw all the stuff they were selling and turning it into a marketplace, that hadn't been the house of God in a while. That's why he got so angry. But anyways, so that's Matthew 24, but I'm trying to get to the part where it talks about the end times. And I'm reading these out, and I know y'all can read this too, but I just want you to think about everything going on in the world. Let me get to the meat of it here. It's hard to see here, but I have to stay attached so I can charge. I wish it'd let me do it like this. That'd make it so much easier. Let me get to it. Let me find it. Okay. As he sat on the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, and this is Matthew 24, 3, and saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And when shall the age of your coming and the end of the world? What shall be the sign of your coming? I want to rotate device. Dang it. I hate that. I'm trying to balance it without standing it on its cord in the corner of this. That really sucks. Hold on. And I can't pause this, of course. Shut up. And of course, setting it up here, it's really hard for me to see. Well, it's just, you know what? Satan's a liar, and I've also got, sorry, I'm so not ready. I've got a list over there of things that I wrote down that's going on. Okay, so he sat on the Mount of Olives. The disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And I'm going to let you see what I'm reading. And Jesus answered and said unto them, and what shall be the sign of your coming and at the end of the world? And Jesus answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am... No battery, you're plugged in, you retarded phone. No man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. And you shall hear of wars and rumors of war. Get out of here. See that ye not be troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places, like in places that you wouldn't normally have them, like in Oklahoma. All these are the beginning of sorrows, first half of the great tribulation. I don't know about that. But then they shall deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you. And you shall, let me make sure this is right, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise, and shall deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. But he who shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto the nations, and then shall the end come. Now, when it talks about the end come there, it's talking about the second coming of Jesus. A lot of people have this, they have the tribulation and they have the wrath of God twisted. Okay? Tribulation is when the Antichrist is made known, and we'll know who he is when he signs with the Middle East or with whoever, this 7-year peace agreement. That's going to tell us that's when tribulation period starts. Okay, and all the studying and everything that I have done, Jesus is coming for his bride and his church before the tribulation period, because for 7 years. The first 3.5 are going to be peaceful because they just signed this peace agreement. But it was with the Antichrist. After 3.5 years, the same amount of time that Jesus had, that he did his ministry, Satan will have his 3.5 because he's a big fat head. But anyway, he'll have the same amount of time. And then he's going to turn like the creep that he is. And it's going to be hell on earth for anyone that does not take his mark or worship the beast or the image of the beast. And that's where you hear where you'll have to have the mark to buy or sell food, and it's going to get really rough. You know, Jesus is coming for his bride and the church. We're taken out of here. Harpazo, raptured, however you want to call it. We're taken out. Because if you'll notice in the book of Revelation, you don't hear anything about the church after chapter 4. After chapter 3. And then, it's always something to distract. Make me lose my thought. Go away. Yeah. Satan, everywhere. So, he's going to come for his bride. He's already came, offered his dowry, his gift for the bride. He's gone back to his father's house to prepare a place for her, us, the church. And he is due back any time to come get his bride. Then the 7-year period begins. And then, like I said, the first 3.5 will be peaceful and everything will be going along great. And then Satan will turn and show his true colors. And during that 7 years altogether, the good and the bad, that is the tribulation period. Now, if I understand from what I have been studying, and everything that I've been studying has basically lined up with this, if the church is raptured and the bride taken at the onset of the 7-year tribulation, and then people that didn't make the first, rapture, they didn't make it when Jesus came, and then they go the 7 years to the end and they don't take the mark and they don't worship the beast, because I know it says it in the book of Revelation. I think it's Revelation 13. In fact, I'm going to have to look it up now, or 17. Anyway, I'll look it up. It talks about for those that didn't take the mark or worship the beast. And so the word tribulation saints is not in the Bible, but that's basically what they are. These are the people that endured to the end. And it says those, and it said it right here. And then it says, for he who shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. So, it almost sounds like you get another chance. I always believed that once Jesus came, that was it, you're done. But if everything, like from what I've been studying and understanding, lines up, Jesus comes for his bride, his church, then there's a 7-year tribulation period, and then at the end of that 7 years, there's, people are going to going to die of natural causes, or just, a car wreck, or, the normal stuff, just like now. But at the end of that 7 years, then Jesus is returning. It's his second coming. And he's coming with his kingdom, and he's bringing his bride with him. So that right there wipes out the post-tribulation theory, because how can he bring his bride at the end of the tribulation period if he hasn't even got her yet? If she's still here. And my friend Skip made a good point that there's no way Jesus would make his beautiful bride go through the tribulation. And at first I was like, yeah, but I was so convinced of this otherwise. But then I thought about it, and I was like, you know what, you're right. I bet you that we are taken out here, the church and the bride. We're taken out in the beginning of the tribulation period. For those that have been faithful and studied the word and faithful to God and believed, I think we're going to be taken out. And then those that hadn't repented or turned away from their sins, they're going to go through that tribulation period where they're really going to be tested. Their faith is really going to be tested. And if those people endure to the end, then yeah, they're going to still have a chance to have eternal life, But it seems like, and then at the end of that 7 years of tribulation period, when Jesus comes back with his kingdom and sets up his kingdom here on earth, that's when the wrath of God's pouring out. A lot of people think that when Jesus comes for the church, see, that's where the post-trib thought would come in. Jesus comes for the church taken out of the way, and then immediately the wrath of God is poured out. Now, Jesus comes to earth, when he actually returns the second time, he's bringing his kingdom and his bride and all of us who he raptured previously, we're going to reign with him for 1,000 years. So if he hadn't already come and got us, then how's he going to bring us if we're still here? So that just blows the mid-trib and pre-trib. I mean, mid-trib and post-trib, it just doesn't even fit. Doesn't even fit. So, anyways, I just wanted to record that while it was on my brain. But yeah, here, check this. Stupid phone. Alright, so I was talking about things that'd be going on in the end times. We have been for a while. False prophets, Jimmy Jones, the Waco thing, famine. Well, we've always had famine, but it's getting worse. Pestilences, record heat. We know we're having record heat right now. Earthquakes. We're having earthquakes everywhere. We're having them like crazy for the last few years. Wars and rumors of war, that's been going on. And people are like, they're not sympathetic, they're pitiless, they just have no feelings for anyone else. They just don't care, and it's really, really sad the way people's hearts have, as it is put in the Bible, have waxed cold. And it's like everyone is just against everyone now. It's just insane. It's like I don't even want to go outside or talk to anyone, because if you don't agree with what they say, they may kill you. Who knows, Anyways, I'm done for now.